Hello for the fifth Sunday in Ordinary Time. Only using the Gospel today, which is from Luke 5, 1 to 11. And in that Gospel, I'm only going to talk about two words. And the first word is commands. And the second word is men, commands and men. Well, let's start with commands. You know, when Jesus Christ commanded Peter to throw his nets overboard for a catch of fish early in the morning. He commands Peter. That's what Peter says. Only because you command me will I do it. Because we didn't catch anything all night. And by golly, you know what happens if you read that passage or listen to that passage for today's reading the gospel. You know, people with power give commands, okay? Putin right now is a man with power and authority, and he gives commands on the Ukrainian border. Power. Parents give commands to their children, especially the younger they are. And bosses give commands to all the people under him or her in the company. Give commands. This is the way we do it here, or this is the way you will do it here. And you know, even the bishop gives commands to his priests. I mean that is to the priests that are active, not to the retired priests. A bishop gives commands. And I think this is the way Peter says or looks at it, because you commanded me. Or this is the way that Luke, who wrote this story about Jesus and Peter and James and John, this is what he says. But really, I think Jesus gives more of an invitation. Please do this. This is the way to do this. This is the right way of acting or doing this. Commands. Well, you know, he wasn't the boss. Peter, James, and John had their fishing company or whatever they called it. They were partners. So they decided to go fishing, when to throw the nets down or overboard to catch the fish. But did Jesus command that they follow? Or was Jesus inviting Peter, James, and John to follow him? I personally think it's an invitation. The very end of today's gospel, where they left their boats and followed Jesus. Commands. Putin parents. Bosses and bishops. Life. There's a lot of commands. Well, the second one is men. Men. Jesus tells Peter, from now on, you will be catching men. What does Jesus mean? Catching men. Well, to catch men, I think he's meaning from now on, I'm going to invite you guys, Peter, James, and John, to catch men, women, and children. You know, the scriptures and the church has a knack of using men, meaning men, women, and children. And I don't think it comes across all the time too well, especially in our society. So I thought I'd look up the meaning of a man or the meaning of men in my American College Dictionary. And you know, when I opened that up and look, and I said, my gosh, under men and man, there are many different meanings. Well, the first meaning is, what's a man? A man is one, an adult male human. One. Two, what is a man or what are men? A man is a human regardless of sex or age. And then it goes on, and I don't know if you can see this, and it gives 13 more meanings for man or men. And in that, it talks about how women look at that word man and men in the scriptures or in society's interpretation in this gray area. And it talks about what women hear when they hear mankind, when they let manpower, when they hear chairman, when they say go man the table, etc. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I think the church is hung up with this word man and men when most of the time it has to do with men, women, and children. Just 2 weeks ago, I read in the National Catholic Reporter, that sort of liberal Roman Catholic magazine in the United States, or newspaper in the United States, and it had a picture of the Pope bestowing the order of acolyte, and an acolyte is a server. Well, on a woman. Oh my heavens. Big deal. We've been doing that for years. Having boys and girls serve, haven't we? Or bestowing the order of lector on a woman. Big deal. We've been doing that for years. But then when we come to the priest or becoming a deacon, when are we going to bestow the order of diaconate on a woman and make her a deaconess or a priestess? Words, words, words. Words mean a lot. That's why we call and we talk about Jesus Christ as the Word of God. He expressed the mind of God, his Father. Words are important. And so when we command, do we really mean command or lead or invite? When we're talking about mankind, are we talking to just the men, males? Are we talking about men, women, and children? Wouldn't it be nicer if we spelled out some of these things exactly what we meant by the word? I think if we did, I think we would get a clear insight into who we are, how we should live, and how we are to treat one another. I think that's what Jesus Christ, the Word of God, came to do for all humankind. Have a good day.